This is the coldest I've been since the Smokies. Maybe a couple of nights since the Smokies. Maybe like Grayson Highlands. I kind of forget how cold it was then, but this is cold. And it's a midsummer day and it's sunny. This is crazy. So as you can see, the mud is completely unavoidable. So I just spent trekking pole number 2 falling over in that swamp. I don't think these poles are coming home with me. Here with Rocky.
Hi.
Who's a subscriber of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And Ghost Hiker, who's already done the Triple Crown and is going for her second try of it.
So far. Yeah.
Well, this is something. This is the best view I've seen on the Appalachian Trail so far. Kind of by a long shot. Except for those trees. It's kind of annoying those trees are getting in the way, so I think once I get to those alpine plateaus over there, the views are going to be even better. But apart from that, damn, 10 out of 10 for sure. Cannot think of too much else to say. I feel like I died on Mount Musalaki and made it to heaven. For all you northbounders, the struggle ends at the start of the Whites. It doesn't begin, it ends. Because this is so much more worth it than all those stupid hills you've gone up. This is the first part of the AT, which has really made me wish I had an action camera. Because you've got all these really sharp, steep descents I cannot really video. Because I really just need both hands for them. So this is the first of these huge mountain huts that the Appalachian Mountain Club owns and maintains. It's really cool to see this. Just in the middle of nowhere. Nowhere near any roads I see. I think I'm gonna check this out a bit further, look inside and see exactly what they have. This reminds me a lot of similar huts on the New Zealand Great Walks. Although apparently this one's 3 times as expensive. Nice views though. I'm with through hikers, they gave me free pancakes. Very popular 100-year-old path, probably minimal maintenance. This is what you get. Lots and lots of rocks. You know, crossing this thing without getting my feet wet is actually pretty tough. There are lots of trails up to these mountaintops and always lots of people on them, so whenever people ask others, which place did you come from? Like, which parking lot did you come from? Florida always tends to get some good reactions. Between the trees and the roads, I kind of feel like I'm back in Virginia. Like, what is this? Turns out that White Mountains do have their easy moments. They're decidedly more, you know, smooth trail moments. Flume Gorge Visitor Center. I'm getting picked up here and going to a hostel. Alright, just started walking this morning. The Notch Hostel dropped me off. I had a very unremarkable stay there. I just camped out back, so I cannot really comment too much about the bunk rooms or the hostel itself. And it seems like today is going to be a very bad weather day. However, none of the peaks I saw are in cloud yet, which means I might still end up doing the Franconia Ridge. On a day like today, it's probably going to be very high winds. It's going to be quite interesting. Maybe I'll stop before that, we'll see. Okay, the climb up to Franconia Ridge, one of the toughest climbs on the AT. It's not gonna take me out. Let's go. The easy stuff ends. The dark forest and tons of rocks begins. Well, this is so much easier than South Kinsman. There are actually stairs all the way up this thing. That's crazy. Although I do have to say one thing. This is very much straight up and straight down. I've charged up this ascent like I haven't charged up an ascent before in the AT like a madman. Because, and I'm not sure I've told you this, the weather is predicted to really deteriorate this afternoon. To the point there will be potentially 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's deadly. So I'm just getting up here as fast as I possibly can, get to the tree line, get over the tree line. This has been the easiest ascent of any of the White Mountains so far. So much easier than anything I did yesterday. Easier than Kinsman, easier than Musalaki. So that's been a blessing. Just so well maintained, no scrambling. Let's do this. One of the most infamous ridge lines on the entire AT. Just gotta climb to the top of that mountain. No clouds in sight on the higher peaks. This is gonna be epic, hopefully. Still in the last baby scramble before I get to the real views. But oh my God! Woo! All right. Let's get ready for the strongest winds on the entire trail. And maybe even a storm or two. I'm gonna try my best to avoid them for sure.
Wait, early, when did you start?
January the 3rd. But not at Springer, at Key West. Just a quick video. So that's the Twins apparently. And that thing in the clouds is Mount Washington itself. So that's the work for maybe the day after tomorrow. This is starting to feel like a summit disaster. Rainstorm slowly consuming all the mountains. And everyone's still going up. Well, folks, this kind of looks like the end of days. I might have to shelter somewhere. Problem is, it's all exposed ridgeline all the way up to the top of that next summit. So, you know, wish me luck. I might just keep on moving to keep my body warm. So, one refuge I do have from the storm, from the weather this afternoon, is actually that shelter right there. Which of course exists because capitalism. Maybe that's going to be it, but that thing is about 1.5 kilometers off trail, and all that off trail is steep downhill down that ridge, so I might not do it. We'll see. This hike really does take you to different places. At one moment, you can be on Mount Feathertop in Australia. At the other moment, you can be in the Scottish Moorlands. Mount Lafayette. So just needed to make a quick video about my experience up there in the Alpine zone. I have finished traversing the Alpine zone as shown on that sign. I could absolutely not take out my phone for the last kilometer since the peak because the winds out there were the hardest I've ever experienced in my entire life. Absolutely, without a doubt. I've stuck my hand outside of car windows when going 60 miles an hour, you know, and I sort of feel like those winds were a fair bit stronger. I think they might have been approaching hurricane force. It was very serious. I was walking at a 45-degree angle. That's not an exaggeration. I was walking at a 45-degree angle. My trekking poles were like this the whole time, just so I could get some support, even like this. And it was gusty as well, which meant that, of course, it was uneven. It wasn't a solid support, which meant that I would actually sometimes almost fall over. So yeah, I would guess that the gusts were approaching 70 miles an hour. So that's about 120 kilometers an hour. Absolutely insane. And there was this whole crew of people going up into it. They were at this point where they were still pretty sheltered, and I was telling them about it, and they were kind of waving it off. They were saying, oh yeah, 50-mile-per-hour gust up there. I'm sure it's gonna be fine, we're experienced. And it's like, I'm not that completely inexperienced. Maybe I haven't hiked in the Whites before, but yeah, those guys are going into a bit of danger, so I hope they go all right. So this is Mount Garfield. I decided I would climb it just in order to get to the campsite on the other side. I'm still nowhere near the top, of course. The top is actually an exposed alpine plateau, which is not going to be great in this weather, obviously. So yeah, something to take slow. I think I should be able to get to the campsite in one piece, though. Mount Garfield! Whoa! So last night's hut was a bit different because I actually had to pay for it. It was around $10 per person, and then $5 per person for each subsequent shelter or campsite I stay in. For me, as a thru hiker, which isn't really that much of a problem. Like people call the AMC the Appalachian Money Club for maintaining all these campsites and shelters and trying to collect some money off of it. But that being said, it's really not too bad. Gotta love trail designs like this. This is the trail, it's a literal waterfall. Ever since I entered the White Mountains, I've seen scratches like this on the rocks. And I'm wondering how much that has to do with ice climbing tools. Possibly caused by crampons or something, not really sure. I'm passing a hut right now where I could get some free stuff considering I'm a thru hiker. But I might actually have to go pretty fast over the next few mountains before the weather potentially turns sour, because again, thunderstorms are forecast for the afternoon. So instead of doing that, I'm going straight over this mountain range and to the next hut for hopefully some more treats.
These ones are kind of tough to memorize.
There place is crazy. Reminds me heaps of New Zealand, actually. Kepler track. That feels a lot like this. So far on the Whites, that's 4 epic alpine traverses in 4 days. We'll see if we can keep the ball rolling. It's only gonna get bigger. That's Mount Washington. That's my first cloudless view I've had of Mount Washington. And yeah, it looks pretty developed. There's like 4 towers on top. Looks like this thing's pumping water for the hut.
I have my card for my room.
Seems like they forgot to put rocks on the path. Suits me pretty well. So I was actually given some free baked goods. Some free chocolate cake by that hut. Because the pass that also gives you discounts at the campsites, like they make the campsites $5 instead of $15. They also give you discounts on food, and they give you some free food, which is pretty great. And really shows that hikers shouldn't be bashing the AMC anymore, I think. Not through hikers, maybe normal hikers can. Seems like it's about time to launch my drone. Again, I'm finishing my day early at Wiley Pond campsite because I just want to enjoy myself socializing and avoiding the rest of the thunderstorms today. So yeah, see you tomorrow for potentially the presidential range.